Hello everybody, this is our first ever produced video for the YouTube, so while you're here please remember to press the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button and hit the bell as well so you're notified next time that we launch any videos. Most videos that we do are excerpts of our Twitch streams, so please check us out on Twitch as well. So now when we go live so you can join in all the conversations, but today I just wanted to run through a technique for pulling Armada chests because somebody asked me recently when should I start pulling the G4 Armada chest, the G4 Epic Armada chest, and I have a strategy when it comes to pulling Armada chests, both G3 and G4. And I thought it'd be good to have that documented so that people could refer back to this and maybe benefit from it. Now, the first thing I'll do, I'll preface this to say that this is just my opinion. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I say this on pretty much every stream and every single bit of advice that I do. But this is just how I do it and it works really well for me. So let's talk about it and start off with, to prove that it works, I think me showing you my bank of Armada directives sort of proves that this technique does work. So if we look at my Armada directives, we currently have 10,700 uncommons, 5,286 rares and over almost 11,000 epic Armada directives. Now I'm talking specifically about standard Armada directives, not about Eclipse or any of the other multiple types of Armadas that are in the game, just specifically about regular ones. Now when we're looking at these, you access these by going into your store. So through your Alliance button, click the store and you'll be, when you get to 40 plus, you will notice that you have 6 options to pull credits. So when you kill an Armada, whether it be uncommon, rare or epic, you will get credits, and those credits look like this. So you've got epic credits there, you've got rare credits there, and you have also got uncommon credits there. Now in terms of how to pull these and how to get the most out of these, my opinion is you should never ever not pull the uncommon G3 chest every single day. This one pays 5, 10, 20 or 100 rare Armada directives, and most days you will get one of those options. Some days you're lucky and you get a couple, so some days you might get 25, some days you might get 20, 2 10s. Very rarely, I can't remember the last time I pulled it, you have the chance of pulling 100 rare Armada directives. And they are a big part of the game. They are something that you will need for lots of events and things that you need for scoring and even just general progression in the game. So definitely pull that every single day. That is a staple. So make sure that you're getting enough to do it. Now, something that many people may not know is that as much as you can use the standard Armada directives to do standard Armadas in normal Federation, Klingon and Romulan space, you can also get standard Armada credits from Cardassian space. So for example, we have just ran as an alliance an Obsidian Order station, which is a 42 epic Armada in Cardassian space, which pays out 2 different types of loot. So sorry, this was a rare, not an epic, but you can see it pays out the loot for the Cardassian Armada chests, which we're not going to cover specifically as part of this video, but it also pays out regular Armada regular rare Armada credits as well that you can use to fuel these chests. So this is another option for you to get some, but you do get more bang for your buck using the G4 Armadas up in deep space. Now let's go back to the technique. So I'm just going to recall this miner while it's there. Every single day you have the option to pull the rare and the uncommon G3 Armada chest. So these two, these are on a 22-hour cooldown, so you can pull these every single day. The G3 Epic Armada chest is on a 7-day timer, as you can see there. The other two, the uncommon for G4 is on a daily cooldown, the G4 is on a 3-day cooldown, the G4 Rare, and the G4 Epic is also on a 3-day cooldown. So they are the cooldowns for the 6 different packs that we're going to talk about today. And the whole point is fueling one of those Armada packs to then help get the next level up of Armada directives. So as I mentioned, you pull your uncommon every single day to help you get rare directives. You are then going to use your rare credits and try and pull this every single day that you can. Try and max out as many as you can, 6 chest pulls to be able to get epic directives from the G3 chest. Now, the reason the G3 chest is so important for epic directives is because you can see that when you're pulling 6 of these a day, I work out that you average about 150 epic Armada directives every single day. Average about 150. Now, some days you will get 35 or 70, but I do have evidence of another screenshot which I will throw in. It should appear on the screen right about now, where you get a hell of a lot more Armada directives, and this happens not frequently, but also not too infrequently either. It does happen quite regular. Now, you may ask, well, you've got 350,000 rare credits. How on earth did you do that? Now, I am a G5 player, so I'm able to get them a little bit easier than everybody else because the power of my ship compared to lots in my alliance would allow me to get a larger proportion of the loot, because the amount of loot that you get from an Armada is directly proportionate to the amount of power that you actually throw at the Armada itself. As a lower player, you won't be able to bring the power to the Armadas to be able to get lots and lots of credits per Armada. So what you need to do is you need to be cunning with it. And there's a couple of ships that are really important to you in order to do this when you're in the low 40s and you haven't got, for example, up to the G4 rare status where you can pretty much reach all of the Armadas that are currently in the game up in deep space. The highest warp range that you will need is warp 185. However, you can use ships, and there's 2 or 3 that are really key. One that has just launched very recently that are going to give you increased warp range. So the Franklin is the first one, the Franklin A. Now this is available at warp ops 35, and you can see mine is maxed, and this goes up to 190. So it goes to 190. So a max Franklin A, which technically you can't get until ops 50 anyway. So you're not going to be doing it to get the warp 185s, but you're going to be able to use it to get to the lower ends of deep space to be able to start Armadas. And I'll talk that technique to you in a second. The next one, which was introduced later, was the Fischer. Again, this is a maxed Fischer, and currently that's got warp range of 388. I do have a slightly lower Fischer at tier 10, which has got warp 256. However, this boat, if you do not have Voyager, which I'm going to come on to in a second, this boat will likely be very quickly the highest warp range vessel that you have. And what you do is you use the highest warp that you have. Now remember that there's officers that can improve your warp range. There is Grush, there is Cadet Scotty that can increase the warp range on your Fischer. Now if you're flying a Franklin, you could also use TOS Scotty because he only works on Explorers to be able to do that. So you take those, and now the third and final ship that has massive warp range is Voyager. Now my Voyager is only tier 2, and it is not upgrading Voyager that increases its warp range. It's research. The upgrades from doing the actual components are very small. So for example, mine currently takes from a base of 35 to 40, so it's not big. It doesn't get absolutely massive from upgrading the warp component. It's research. So mine is a tier 2 Voyager, and it currently, because of that research, has a warp range of 385. So that research, once you have Voyager, which everybody should be able to get free to play either in 100 days, if you are not part of the June 2023 arc, and you're able to get 50 blueprints to speed it up, it will take you 100 days. However, you can get it for 50 days if you were part of the June arc, and you get all of your Lobby crystals. And then you can use the research once you start getting your once you start getting into the Voyager loop in your Starships tree. There is a research specific to Voyager's warp range called the Antimatter Recycler, which has a picture of the Titan A on it, but we'll overlook that. And you can see it has massive increases to warp range. Now some of these are again ops locked, so you're not going to be able to get all the way up to the top. Even I can't get to level 12 at ops 54, but they are ops locked. But you can use this to get probably your highest warp range ship in the game. So they're the 3 ways that you're going to access it, because what you're going to be after is the starting chest, the starters chest. So you are going to use whatever the highest range ship you can find. You are going to go to the highest epic Armada that you can find with the ship, You're then going to start the Armada, and you're going to be carried by the larger members of your alliance. So for example, I do this for other people by throwing ships like this in, 84 million. I can solo the level 48 epics with this. So this and maybe a couple of other ships plus a Fisher and a Franklin A or something like that will be able to take down the 51 epics probably quite easily. So if you do have a G5 player in your alliance, hit them up and ask them to help you. Now it does help them because they're going to get the majority of the loot, because as I've said, it is completely proportionate by the power that is brought to the Armada. If you bring 50% of the overall power to the Armada, you get 50% of the actual credits. But what that doesn't affect is the starter's chest. So when you start an Armada, and for example a 51 Armada, which are found in 3 different systems, so a level 51 epic, the 51 epics are found in 3 systems. They are found up in Rylan, that is the Federation one. They are found in Arlian, which is the Romulan system, and then they are found in Tejlok in the Klingon systems. That's where the 3 level 51 epic armadas are, and they are currently the biggest faction armadas in the game. Those armadas pay around 90,000 credits, 90,000 epic credits from the starter's chest. So even though you've gone up there with your Voyager, with your Fisher, and you've only got a really small proportion of the actual Armada credits that are available, and when I say the Armada credits that are available, I will quickly show you what I mean. When I say available, I mean when you click on something and you see the loot that's on it, I mean this. So the amount of loot that's actually physically in the Armada, you will only get a small portion of these because you're only going to be a small percentage of the power. But if you start the Armada, you will get the leader's chest. And those leaders' chests are where you get the big bang for your buck, especially with the rares and with the epics. So going back to what I'm going to suggest, you will go to the highest level systems that you can possibly reach with your highest warp range power ship, and you will start the Armada, whether that be rare, whether that be epic, whether that be uncommon. You are going to make sure that every day that you physically can, you have got enough rare credits to be able to fuel 6 chests every single day if you can. Now that is not going to be possible in the very early 40s. I wouldn't imagine, because you would need so many directives to be able to actually fuel this. Even because you're not going to be able to reach the level 50s, you're probably going to be stuck at the level 45 rares potentially, maybe even the 42 rares a little bit lower down. So you're not going to get the massive boxes that you're going to be able to get when you can get to the really high warp range armadas. But once you can get up there, this is not a difficult thing to fuel on a daily basis. I've not been unable to pull a 6 chest rare pull on the G3 chest for probably over a year now, which is why I'm able to easily run epic armadas at my will, and why I've got nearly 11,000 epic armada directives. So you pull this every single day to be able to get your epic directives, which you then going to use to fuel these 2 chests. So you've got the G3 epic armada chest, and in my opinion you pull this every single time that it is available for one main reason, and that is to unlock your ISS jellyfish. Once you have your ISS jellyfish, I would consider people stop pulling this chest unless you are swimming in credits, because you just don't need the small amounts of G4 that's in there. Yes, there's some faction credits in there, and it's nice. If you are swimming in the credits, absolutely, you've seen that I've done it. Pull this chest. It's only 5,000 every single week. It's not massive if you're able to keep up with the other chest. But once you have your ISS jellyfish, which you only want for Jelly Brawl to get far more parts than what's paid out in this chest, you stop pulling this chest and you focus every single epic credit that you ever get on the G4 chest. So the G4 chest is where, as you progress through the 40s, you will start to see ships such as the G4 miners at 41. You'll start to see the 42 ships at 41. You will start to see the 46 ships when you get to 45, and you will start to see these, the G4 epic ships, when you get to Ops 49. Now that is not the main draw of the chest. I've seen very few people ever pull full pulls of these. You are just slow dripping the blueprints into there. What you are pulling this chest for is for these, the rare tactical cores. Now the rare tactical cores are what is needed to upgrade your ACC, your Armada Control Center building. Your Armada Control Center building has 2 locks, so there are 2 points at which your Armada Control Center needs to be of a certain level to be able to upgrade. And one of them is you need it to be level 45 in order for you to go to level 51. The other lock is you need it to be level 50 in order for you to go from Ops 56 to Ops 57. So bear that in mind when you're planning your progression. And these Armada cores, you can see you need a boat ton of them. And this is just to get to 47. I've got 48, I've got 49, sorry, to get to 48. I've got to get to 49 and then to 50 after this. And 50, for your information, needs 90,000 cores. And there are no researches which improve the efficiency of this. So you've got to be so careful, and you've got to make sure that you are using your epic credits wisely and spending them as much as you can on this epic chest. Going back to the rares, the reason that we're not pulling the G4 rare pack is because this chest holds very, very little value. Do you remember we had in the other chest, we had 15, we had 35, we had 70, we had 250 potential epic directives. This one caps out, bearing in mind we was doing 6 chests of the other one for 30,000 credits. At my ops level, it's 200,000 credits per chest, and I've got a chance of maybe getting 20 epic directives. It's just not fueling enough epic directives for this to be a thing. Now, when you get to Ops 49, the rare tactical cores that you start to get from this chest are a lot more appealing. And if you've got millions of rare loot because you've been following this religiously, and I do this, so if you've got millions of rare loot, you may want to throw a couple of chests, 4 chests here and there. The costs are linear, so you're not losing out by buying more, just to fuel a few more rare credits to be able to get it. Getting locker shards, 5 shards, 10 shards is nice as well. Curon, obviously, bit of a throwaway. Not many people tend to use that, but do not pull this chest at all until you are at least Ops 49, and never leave yourself short of being able to pull the G3 Armada chest for the rare credits. That is your top priority to get the epic directives to fuel the epic Armada pack. Uncommon. There is no point sitting here on 15, 20 million uncommon loot. The amount of time it will take you to pull that in the uncommon chest, the G3 uncommon chest, is ridiculous. Don't sit there on millions of this stuff. If you have got well over 1 million, I would say honestly, pull a chest of these. You're not going to get anything great from it, but what else are you ever going to use it for? Bearing in mind you can only use 25,000 loot per day in the G3 chest. So as long as you've got enough to get 175,000 a week, you can use that figure to sort of gauge how much you've got. If you've got 1 million, you can throw 750,000 in. You know you've got enough for 10 days worth of pulls left, and then you've just got to go run another one to be able to keep that plumbed up. But you never struggle with these. Don't sit on tens of millions of loot. Just pull it, get the few extra Armada directives that you're going to get from the G4 pack. You're going to get a few. You're not going to get many. You're going to get a few G4 parts. Like I say, it's not going to light up any trees. There's no rare cores available in here, which is a shame. But don't sit on millions and millions of loot, because that's not going to sort your game out. It's not going to progress your game in any way, shape or form. One final thing I think to show everybody is this is a list of all of the different Armadas that are available. So you can see uncommon, rare and epic, and what we've covered here is regular Armadas, mainly being faction, and obviously ones that are in neutral space on the left hand side, and then we've also got the Armadas on the right hand side, the Cardassian ones, and you can see the 3 different levels: uncommon, rare and epic. You can see the levels which they're at. We've also included the warp range that are on there, and whether you would be required to be Ops 38 plus to have dark space unlocked or deep space unlocked to be able to access these particular Armadas. And these are showing us exactly what each of the starters chest pay. So you can see here that the biggest epic in normal space will be 98,100, needing the warp 185 that I mentioned earlier. Over if you can get to the Cardi space, if you are capable with your team of killing the 50 Armadas, the level 50, you're actually getting 100 standard epic credits and 2,900 of the superior loot that you need for those chests. So ultimately, if you are able to kill these 50s, these are technically the biggest bang for your buck for you to be able to get the most epic credits from an Armada. However, in terms of rares, to get the most rares per Armada, you will be looking at the standard 50s, which are warp 160. You're getting 170,000, which, going back to what we were talking about with fueling your refinery with 30,000 a day, you've got almost 6 days worth of full pulls from the G3 Epic chests from that 150 rare Armada. So that's my idea on the Armada chests and how to pull them and when to pull them. Please leave a comment below if you disagree with me or if you've got any further questions. As I mentioned right at the start, press subscribe, hit the like button, and remember the bell notification so that you know next time that I am going to be live. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will be on Twitch on Tuesday night, so please follow us there. The link to that will be in the description. And everybody have a fantastic day. And remember, guys, everything's better with lube. Tatty bye.